So the Global Stars DLC pack has finally touched down, and I can say that this is probably one of the more anticipated DLCs out of the group. And while I'm still partial to the ECW Punk pack, I can say that this pack definitely has some beautiful things in it, some of which I would very much like to discuss. So in this one, we're going to talk about 5 things that stood out in the Global Superstars pack. So with that being said, welcome back to the channel. God bless. Let's work. Removable gear. In this pack, we saw a pretty dope detail, one featuring Dragon Lee being able to pull down his knee pad on command. These type of details is why I subscribe to the notion that little things matter. No Diddy, of course. But this small detail not only brings a lot of authenticity to the character, but just the game in general. In a game that's heavy on aesthetics and what is supposed to be a true-to-life iteration of what we see on TV, it's these kind of details that are going to stand out. While this is not an entirely new detail, because we've seen this with the likes of The Rock when he would remove his elbow pad before he delivered the people's elbow in some of the older games, and even in the current 2K games with the lowering of the straps, this could legit be the start of an amazing concept, and I really hope that they continue with this trend. I would honestly like to see removable hair ties to where wrestlers can let their hair down, removable weight belts, gloves. We've seen that in AEW Fight Forever with Penta, knee braces, shirts, medical tape, or how crazy would it be if we could stage a run in through the crowd with a hoodie on? Wait, correction, a black hoodie. It has to be black. We all know the black hoodie is the default spin the block attire. But imagine after you blindside your opponent, you have the option to pull the hood down and do a face reveal. And this could also work for other face coverings such as masks, similar to the Wyatt Six, and even things like bandanas. But speaking of masks, I want to spin back on the idea I had in a previous video regarding lucha mask. As somewhat common knowledge to a lot of wrestling fans, one of the most disgraceful and disrespectful things that you could do to a lucha wrestler is remove his mask. I think it would be dope if we approach a lucha wrestler that is either sitting or lying on the mat. The game would give us an option to attempt to remove his mask. And the cool thing is they could use the exact minigame they use for the pinfall, basically giving your opponent a few chances to stop the meter in a sweet spot and fight off your attempt to demask them. But should they fail, it will lead to a match stoppage and a cutscene of your wrestler fleeing up the ramp while covering their face. Meanwhile, you're in the ring holding up their mask and kind of taunting them. Bottom line, I just think this would be a cool little Easter egg on top of giving us another way to end matches alongside the pinfall and submission. Y'all comment down below and let me know what y'all think about this one. But zooming back out to a broader perspective of this feature, I would love to see them add a removable attire category under the create an attire option in the creation suite. Whether you want to call them removable or interactive attires, maybe give us 1 or 2 special slots for these type of attire parts. I would even settle for 1 for ring entrance gear and 1 for ring attire. So maybe if you wanted like a removable shirt for your entrance attire and like removable knee pads for your ring attire. So imagine if you could break out and then take off the shirt, use the shirt to choke your opponent with it, and then like perform a crowd taunt or something to toss the shirt into the crowd. Maybe I'm going a little too crazy here, but I would like to have a removable gear category in the creation suite. Carlito's apple and the weapon grapple associated with it is something I definitely want to talk about. First off, again, props to 2K because this is dope. This is a dope concept. I try my best to keep it as solid as possible on this channel, and I'm all for giving praise when it's due and constructive criticism when it's needed. Score another point for attention to detail. Him taking a bite out of the apple and then spitting it in his opponent's face, chef's kiss. Love to see it. Actually, I would love to see a lot more of this. More actions that align with your wrestler's persona and attitude would be nice. Things like physical taunts or funny and disrespectful actions. You know, those actions that kind of demoralize your opponent, and maybe you could do something like take a little bit of their special meter away. Actions that immediately come to mind are things like Big E's spanking abdominal stretch, Rick Rude standing over you and doing his hip gyrating dance. Is that a no Diddy? I'm a no Diddy just in case. The Young Bucks kiss taunt, Jericho's Lion Tamer 1-foot pin, making your beaten down opponent forcibly shake your hand, and even just a good old slap in the face. And there's a lot more, but what I'm trying to get at is these actions are typically just to get under your opponent's skin and kind of demoralize them and embarrass them. These are more about hurting their pride than causing any physical harm. One cool way to incorporate these would be to map some of them to the taunt system. So if you are within the striking distance of your opponent and you perform a taunt, instead of doing your basic normal taunts, you would perform a physical taunt. Something like a slap in the face or maybe a mush. Some people call it a big face or where you basically just put your hand in your opponent's face and just push him by the head. Razor Ramon's toothpick toss would also fall in this category. Now, if you're close to them while they're laying on the mat, then maybe you do something like the 1 foot pin or the Rick Rude dance and the forced handshake. If you are in close proximity while they're sitting, then maybe you do the Young Bucks kiss, or maybe you just grab them by the back of the head and just talk crap to them. I would even say give us some of these actions doing a collar and elbow tie up. So, like if you perform a collar and elbow tie up and you hit the taunt button, maybe you can do a fake break where you kind of act like you're trying to do a clean break and then you slap them in the face, even during certain move animations. Imagine Jade Cargill having somebody in a gorilla press slam, and during the move, you have the option of taunt, which would see you either bang out a couple of reps with their body weight or just walk around with them. Or take somebody like Sting, like if you're doing a charged version of his Scorpion Death Drop, you can hit the taunt and make him whisper in their ear like he used to do in the WCW days before dropping them on the back of their head. And of course, everything would be reversible, so there's always a risk and reward there. I just think this would be a cool way to add some character depth, as well as a way to kind of knock the wind out of your opponent's sails. For example, like if they're close to getting their signature, hitting one of these taunts will maybe take them out of that signature state. And I'm just kind of spitballing here, but the moral of the story is I would love to see more of these kind of actions, character specific actions. These are the things that we just recently talked about, like Dragon Lee pulling down the knee pad, Carlito's apple. And then we even have some of the older stuff like Sandman's white Russian leg sweep with the kendo stick, even down to certain types of reversals. The one characteristic that all of these things have that I'm really not fond of is the fact that they are locked exclusively to certain characters. And I can say with much conviction that this hurts me personally because my male Myrise character is a mashup of two of my favorite wrestlers, which is Sting and Undertaker. So I would have loved to been able to pull off some of their unique reversals, like the tombstone into the tombstone reversal or the chokeslam into the chokeslam. And on top of that, my female Myrise character, one of her special moves is a corner knee. So it would have been cool to be able to pull down the knee pad. But because actions like these are locked behind specific characters, created superstars are excluded from all the fun. But just like my suggestion for removable attires, the solution to these problems can also be found in the creation suite. By making things such as weapon grapples and reversal types a category within our move sets, it would give players much more freedom to pick and choose the kind of weapon grapples that they want and even the reversal sets that they want. So if I want a Van Daminator or a chair guillotine, add it to the move set. If I want a white Russian leg sweep with the kendo stick, add it to the move set. This could even work for something like reversal types. Like if you want your reversals to cater to like a specific fighting style, like whether it be technical, which would probably see you doing a lot of like float overs, go behinds, things like that. Or if you want your reversals to cater more to strikes or grapples, you should be able to do that. We should even be able to select certain wrestlers' reversal packages. So if I want to reverse just like The Undertaker, all I have to do is just go in and assign his reversal package. And should 2K and VC ever decide to advance the selling animations, this could even work for those. Imagine being able to have like a Ricochet or Austin Theory style oversell package or something. I'm spitballing again here, but one thing remains true. The more freedom and options you give players, the happier they'll be. I believe that and I stand on it. Number 4 is short and sweet. Jade Cargill is fine even in video game form. Oh my God. That's it. That's the entirety of number 4. I'm in love with a wrestler. All right, let me stop, man. Let me stop. Number 5 is character authenticity. Much like we spoke to earlier, man, this is really just about giving 2K their flowers for this one. It's not hard to see that a good amount of effort went into personalized details with Dragon Lee's knee pad, Carlito's apple, even Jade Cargill's signature pin. These are just W features, man. And despite not being fond of the exclusivity of it all, and certain aspects not being for fair use, 2K and VC showing this level of attention to detail, man, definitely gives me some hope for the future. In the future, I hope they give this kind of care and attention to all wrestlers because that's definitely one of my biggest pet peeves with the series, wrestlers not really behaving or mimicking their real life counterparts. But that's my take on it, man. WGC, comment down below and let me know, what do you think about this DLC so far? Do you feel like it's the best one to date? And are you happy with the additions that they made? As always, I want to humbly and truly thank you guys for checking out the content, man. It really means a lot to me, man. I appreciate that more than y'all know. Do me a favor, if you do rock with the content, man, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. Share the video on as many social media platforms as you can, Discord, X, Facebook, whatever you can think of, man. I would love to have more eyes on these. Again, thanks for giving me a piece of your time. Love y'all. All glory to God. And remember to try to be a blessing to somebody. Later, WGC. Yay.